Hello everybody, it is John and Pippin reporting from a very, very wet southeast Queensland and Brisbane in my case. Hey mate, yes it has been flooding. Yes, I get flooding in here because I live at the bottom of a hill and I've got a creek opposite me, which means I cop everybody's runoff, which means that when it decides to flow down, I sadly can't do anything to stop it. Even though I've got a rubble drain along the back of the house, doesn't do anything to stop it, does it, Pip? No. So consequently, I've learnt to sadly live with it. So all my games and all my books and everything are 6 inches up off the ground. So when the water decides to flow through my lower residence, it keeps flowing. But it's still a extremely distressing period for me, and sadly, because I've had possums get into the roof, they've decided to add further calamity to my stress level. So my roof leaks now. So I've got it's just one. What can you do? You can only laugh, can't you? Even though I'm crying inside. It's dear. Anyway, he's been stressed because he can't go out for a walk. He's not too keen on the wet grass, and he doesn't like walking across wet linoleum, do you? Or lino. We call it lino here in Australia. Lino, not linoleum. But yes, it's a he's not too keen on getting his paws wet, but he'll go outside, won't you? You'll go outside and get wet. Yes. I had a friend come over briefly, and of course he's standing out there in the rain, looking at where he normally does his piddle, and he's wondering why there's a lake there now. And he's going, I can't go and do it, Dad. He said, I can't do it. There's all this water, and it's not making me think about going. Anybody else? You know, all I've got to hear is somebody using my toilet or running water, and you're suddenly going, oh, geez, I really need to go to the loo. Yes. But I can see somebody going, that's far too much information, John, far too much information. So what have I been doing to distract myself? Well, my good friend Paul from BP Laser, and hopefully I will have scanned his business card. The lazy beggar won't send me one. Well, I asked him for a scan, and what's he do? Gives me his business card and leaves it to me to do all the hard work. So, but anyway, look, he's a great mate, and he's helped me a lot. He's helped me a lot out with some issues that I have here, and of course I look after his wonderful black German Shepherd when he goes on holidays or when he goes up to visit his father. So, but anyway, Paul has left off a number of projects. Now, I did show you the cottage. Hey, that's enough now. Come on. No barking, please. And, excuse me, please. Yes, that's a good boy. I showed you the picture of the cottage that I did. Well, I now have done a carriage. I really do like the carriage. I think the carriage is a lovely little video. And Paul looked at me putting together the carriage and was saying, read the instructions. And of course, hey, look, if you've got to read the instructions, you're cheating. Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to start cheating because my logic sometimes I'm thinking, you know, I'm spending, I guess, half the video trying to work out how to put stuff together. But look, it's fun to do because for me, it's, I guess, a bit of therapy because it's taking up my time. It's keeping my mind occupied. And look, it's giving me an item that I can use in my games. So I've just got to get around to obviously painting this in due course. So I did a carriage, and then he gave me, because he's moving towards getting a flat pack for most of his games now, rather than his bag of loose pieces. And the other one that he gave me to trial out was his wagon. So I've got a wagon with just the rails on the side. So that's really good. Generic for just about any game whatsoever. Any game, any period. And then he gave me the other one here is the one with the solid walls. And it had the railings as well. And Dopey John, I think, for about 5 minutes of the video is going, where do the railings go? Do they sit on top? Am I supposed to have an option with, I can either use the solid walls and then do that? And then Paul says, no, John, you idiot. He said, I told you that it's supposed to go on the outside. And then I go, I may vaguely remember him telling me this, but look, as I said, nice, generic, it's good. So, and it's a fairly simple template. But what he has given me is that he's done a Tudor style house, which I have done a video for, and it will come up eventually. And this is it. It's a 2-story, and won't try to pull it to pieces to show you. The door is missing, because once we started to, because this is his prototype for the sheet, and we found that there's, okay, so we're missing a few things. So the new one has the frame on the front as well. So, for instance, for me, this looks a little odd, but he'd missed that. There's stairs inside. There's a chimney that goes on here as well. So it's really, really nice. So that has been a lot of fun putting together. So I'll have a video of that with my insane and inane chatter. So, pardon me, I do recommend very much BP Laser and my good friend Paul, who does that. And the other thing too is that if you're looking for somebody who will produce something for you, if there's something that you're thinking, look, I need somebody to do a particular project for me, I'm looking for this type of building or piece of terrain or something, give Paul a message, give him a bell, because he loves challenges, and if he thinks that he can do it, he'll get back to you. Yeah. So what else have I been up to? Well, because we've had so much rain here in southeast Queensland, I've been listening to audiobooks and that again. So I discovered a new one. I love my medieval whodunits and murder mysteries and things like that. So this one is by an author called Mel Starr, Starr, and it's The Chronicle of Hugh de Singleton. And the way I fell into this one was that on Audible, they've got like a catalogue of books that are free to listen to, and the first book, The Unquiet Bones, was one of the ones that was free to listen to, part of your catalogue, part of your subscription. So I listened to it. I really, really enjoyed it, actually, so much so that I've now got the second one. So I'm going to have to go buy the first one, because I'm never a person who believes in trying to keep books that may, they may be free on a catalogue, but catalogues probably change and I'll lose it and then have to go buy it. But look, I'm just a weak person. But I've got the first book, which is The Unquiet Bones, and the second book is A Corpse at St Andrew's Chapel. So that is book 2, and I quite like them. They are narrated by Stephen Crossley, and I quite like him as a narrator, and so I'm currently listening to book 2 at the moment. Book 1, thoroughly enjoyed it. Really, really good. And so that is that. The next one is Black Library, Games Workshop, or Citadel, whoever you'd like to call them. I have followed William King and the adventures of Gotrek and Felix since the very early days when the books first came out. And I've been waiting for them on audio. They've slowly started to release them on audio through Audible, and I think I may have mentioned Beast Slayer before, but I've actually finally got to start listening to it, and they have just released on the 26th of this month, which is February, Vampire Slayer. So I'm quite pleased about that. I think there's one more book by William King, and I think it might be Giant Slayer, I think, is the last of his. There might be 7 books by William King, and then it goes across to a new a new author picks up the story for Gotrek and Felix. So I'm looking forward to those continuing, because I really do enjoy them. I didn't like the end times concept that Games Workshop introduced. I thought that was a dreadful way to handle the universe, just to do what they did for business practices. I thought that was yeah. I'll leave it at that. Not a happy chappy. Grab your pitchfork and your burning torches and go for them. But yeah, anyway, look, I've got all the old stuff. Even if they try to retcon, you know, it's like all the early 40k novels where everything's Imperial Guard and, you know, Eldar and everything like that, where they're now going through, oh, well, we've got to rip all that out now and put in Astra Militarum and all the new titles and everything, rather than, look, you just leave the books as they are. Don't go back and try and change everything to fit your new narrative. It's history. Leave it. So anyway, that's just me. Next author that I've picked up some books for is Martha Carr and Michael Anderle, and they are the Johnny Walker series, The Bounty Hunter, and that is Dwarf It All and Cluster Dwarf. I do like I really do like the stories. So Dwarf It All, he gets some cyborgs, and in books, and he and Lisa finally do the deed, if we'd like to call it that. And in book 7, Lisa finally gets to be able to talk to the hounds. So the coon hounds finally get to interact with her, which is quite good. So I'm really pleased with the way that those books are going. They're entertaining, and they're narrated by a chap called Wayne Mitchell, and his style of narration is, I think, certainly suits the book and the character. Then the last book that I picked up, and I just ran into it because it came up as a crop from a new author. Well, not a new author, but I think it was a new book. But anyway, it dealt with Percy Fawcett and the Lost City of Zed, or Z. And it's by Charles River Editors, and it's narrated by Scott Clem, who really is the most uninteresting narrator that I've sadly had run across for some time. But the book itself, I mainly got the book because the book is fairly decent for I guess for a reference book for me, because there's lots of pickies and stuff. And then the book itself, like the audio is only just over an hour and something. It might be an hour and a half, might be under 2 hours. I can't quite remember. I've not listened to it yet. It's on my list of things to get around to. Now, what else has been happening? I've picked up some new games. You'll find that there's some new unboxings. I got The Crew, Mission Deep Sea, and I picked up Welcome to the Moon. And I must thank the wonderful people at 2-6 Games who came out in Brisbane's really inclement weather. So thank you very much, Joe, for delivering. You are a sterling chap. I'd give you a VC if I could still hand them out. So no, braving that weather to deliver was greatly appreciated. So, but yeah, and what was the other thing I managed to? I had some. Hang on, I'm going out of camera here. I picked up was, and I must thank the people. They were very nice, and they actually came to me. See, my productions are Mickey Mouse, aren't they? I'm not even prepared. I picked up. Look, I've got it upside down, haven't I? Hello? Oh, come here, you big sook. Sit down while I do this. I picked up. Excuse me. Do you mind? Look, people are going to think, geez, John, you can't do anything. I love doing these shows. Summoner Wars, Alliances, the Master Set. Oh, look, honestly, I was so happy to pick this up. And I thank Marsha and her husband for having dropped this off to me. I was so happy to be able to expand my set. That set actually came with neoprene mats. Yes. And yesterday, when it was teeming rain and I was really, really depressed, I had my friend Jason come round and we played a game called Sakura Arts. I think that's what it is. I'll have a picture of it. If I've said it wrong, I've done it wrong. But anyway, you're playing gods, or you're using avatars of gods or something like that. Anyway, look, I just like it in the fact that you're mixing two deities together or two powers together, and you pick cards. You can either use, they've got set cards there that you can choose from to play quickly, and obviously once you know how you play the game, you can then pick and choose cards the way that you want. So I really liked it, and the combination of what was available was really, really good. It's only a two-player game. And you're telling me that I'm taking too long here. Yep, he says, Dad, you're boring everybody. So anyway, for everybody in Southeast Queensland who perchance watches this, look, my best wishes and sympathy go to those who are struggling. I have a number of friends who have sadly suffered badly in this flooding event. I've got a couple of friends whose houses have gone under, and people who've lost, their games. I could think of nothing worse. If I lost everything that I've got here, I think people would be going to my funeral the next day. So look, if keep in mind, everybody, help people where you can. If you've got spare games and you know these people and they're trying to rebuild, help them out, give them something if you can. I know this is me probably thinking, geez, I could probably give away half of my collection, but I guess it's a hard thing to do. But I'd like to help people where I can. I'm certainly didn't lose anything, but I've suffered through the water damage yet again down here, and there's nothing worse than having to mop up and clean up every time. Yet our wonderful state government, which by the way is a Labor government, has still done nothing to mitigate flooding and that here in Queensland, and it is ridiculous that we have climate activists that won't allow or won't. Yeah, anyway, I won't go into it. It just gets me so angry. But yeah, so to everybody who is suffering, I hope that you can move forward. I hope that you can find some joy in the coming weeks and months, and that you can move forward. So anyway, Pippin and I wish you all the best from us. So look, thank you everybody for watching this waffle, and till next time, signing off, the Honourable John.